we're getting ready for our next step on our Quartz, which is an industrial flooring system. Quartz is offered in 15 different standard colors. So not only are you getting the durability of the system, but you're also having a nice aesthetic value. It's just a great system. To recap what we've done up until this point, we've started off on our boards by priming with Purdue EO2. EO2 is a 100% solids epoxy. Remember, prior to putting that product down, you got to have a good surface profile. We're looking for a CSP, concrete surface profile, of somewhere between 3 and 5, which we can obtain either with dustless grinding or shot blasting. We've rolled this down yesterday, and now we came back within 24 hours, and I'm evaluating our E10 application, and I don't see any blisters or outgassing bubbles or pinholes. Had we seen some blemishes like outgassing bubbles, you'd want to throw a 100 grit sanding screen on the bottom of a floor machine and knock them off flat and level, and you would vacuum the residual dust and then solvent wipe that off, and then you'd be ready to go to the next step. Now, when the fact that we have not exceeded that 24-hour window, we don't need to sand this particular prime coat. So now what we're getting ready to install is what we refer to as the body coat, and we're going to be using the Purdue E10 100% solids epoxy as our body coat. If you were in an environment for whatever reason that you needed a quick turnaround, you could actually use the P72, which is the high solids polyaspartic, and typically that would be dry in about 2 hours, allowing you to go on for your second broadcast. So we're going to go ahead and mix up our body coat of Purdue E10, and we're going to broadcast our first application of the quartz aggregate into that system. We already have our E10 pre-measured, equal parts, 2-to-1 system. The E10 is a 2 A's to 1 B, and so we're going to mix that for approximately 3 minutes. We're going to mix our 1 part B into our 2 part A. And then start mixing with the squirrel mixer. All right, we've mixed our E10 body coat for 3 minutes, and now we're going to just simply dump some on the floor and roll it down with a 3/8 snap roller. Keep in mind, on a large application, you'd be wanting to use a notch squeegee followed by a back roller, and then come back in with your broadcast of the quartz. Okay, we've rolled down our body coat of Purdue E10. Now it's time to broadcast the color Timberwolf quartz aggregate. So remember, this is our first broadcast of our quartz. You really don't want to see any shiny spots after you've broadcast. Okay, that's our first broadcast of our quartz decorative aggregate system. So what we'll do is we'll wait approximately 8 to 10 hours, or the next day we'll take a broom and sweep off the residual. I do like to just take a scraper just to knock any nibs off, and then we'll vacuum it, and then we'll go on to our next step, which is another body coat of our Purdue E10 with a second broadcast. A quick recap of what we've done on our quartz broadcast system here. We primed with Purdue EO2. We came back roughly 10 hours after that. We applied our first body coat of the E10, We broadcast the quartz aggregate till refusal, meaning you could not see any clear epoxy anymore. That's now dried an additional 10 hours. We're back on it. We've just done a light sweeping. I like to go through and just give it a light scrape. From there, just a quick sweep again to get that residual off. And we'll come right in with a vacuum, and let's get this up, vacuumed up. Yeah. Just go right back over that place again. If you have a floor that's in relatively good shape, meaning it's pretty flat and level, you might be able to get away with one broadcast. You can see actually this looks really nice. It's very consistent. You got to be very careful though if the floor has undulations or the applicator is broadcasting it in a non-uniform fashion, you could actually get clumping. So you would always, in a high impact area, you would definitely want to use the double broadcast system, which is what we're about to show right now. So we're getting ready to mix our E10, and just to recap, our mix ratio is 4 parts A to 1 part B, and we're going to go ahead and mix that for a total of 3 minutes. When you apply this body coat, basically, this is our second body coat for our second broadcast of the quartz aggregate. There's a couple of ways to actually apply it. Most guys on a large project, what they're going to do is mix a large volume, a whole gallon kit, or maybe a 3-gallon kit, basically, and they're going to dump it on the floor and just use a smooth squeegee and just grout the whole floor with that. It's quick, and then they would do a quick back roll and then go ahead and broadcast the second application of the quartz aggregate. So you can also just roll it like we're about to show you. We're just going to simply roll it. Of course, that's a little bit of a slower process. Fine on small projects, but on big projects you might want to consider using the smooth squeegee to really get the material on quickly and to get the full body. So we have our A there, and now it's time to start mixing our B. I made certain I didn't get any of the A or the B onto, thanks Brian, the side of the bucket. We've talked about that through this video. You just can't have any unmixed material on the side of the bucket. That's the first thing that would go onto your floor when you start to apply. Basically, it's slow to medium speed. I don't want to mix the epoxy like this. By going that fast, I'm going to entrap air into it. So just about a medium speed drill like we're going here. Full 3-minute mixing. We've mixed our E10 at a ratio of 4 parts A to 1 part B. We've mixed it for 3 minutes, so it's a nice thorough mix. Now it's time to apply it. You can see by rolling it, this material is, that coat that we're rolling over is very thirsty. So on a large scale, that's why it's a really great idea to use the squeegee, because the squeegee actually rides over the tops of the quartz aggregate, filling all the low divots and voids where this roller actually kind of pulls the material back out. So it's going to be fine for this demonstration, but on a large job, go ahead and just run the squeegee, back roll that, and then broadcast your quartz. You can see I keep pushing material back up where it was initially kind of dry, so we have a nice full body coat on here. Now we've got a nice uniform build of epoxy on there.